We're back again with another episode of This Week in the Valley. So glad you could join us. Here you'll meet people who are making a difference and learn about events taking place right here in our own backyards. I'm Donna Bell.
And I'm Darren Elizaris. We have a great show for you, and joining us a bit later, our 6th District Representative Tim Remley, Becky Emmerich, Barb M. Garten, and Debbie M. Garten of Salisbury, and Jean Jones with AARP, and her guest, Megan Rigericks, with another Volunteering in the Valley.
This Wednesday, as with every November 11th, we celebrate Veterans Day, a day set aside to honor the men and women who served our country so we can enjoy freedom every day.
There are many ways to honor a veteran. One way is to attend one of the many Veterans Day celebrations around the area. Talk with a veteran about their time in the military and listen to their story. Hang a flag in your yard, visit the gravesite of a veteran, the list goes on.
Walmart and several other organizations launched a new campaign to help create a visible support for Americans veterans and their families called Greenlight a Vet. Greenlight a Vet shines a light on the impact transitioning veterans make in and out of uniform in communities across the country.
With 250,000 members of our military transitioning back to civilian life each year, they are returning to our schools, workplaces, and neighborhoods to take on important roles as active citizens. But their transition doesn't end with the return home. That's when it begins.
Anyone can Greenlight a Vet. Help a veteran find a job, volunteer and serve with the veterans groups in our communities, raise awareness on social media, or simply signal support by changing your porch light to green.
A green light means go, and that's what veterans are known for, their ability to take action quickly no matter the challenge. They demonstrate great leadership skills in any situation and represent the best of America. Their involvement in communities is central to our nation's success.
Americans veterans are some of our nation's bravest, hardest working men and women. However, it's hard to show them the appreciation they deserve when back home and out of uniform. They're more camouflaged than ever.
Greenlight a Vet. All Americans are invited to show support for veterans through a visible symbol. Show your support for our veterans by changing one light to green.
Thank you to all our veterans who have served, are currently serving, and especially for those who paid the ultimate sacrifice for the freedoms we enjoy every day.
Yes, thank you very much.
In addition to displaying a green light, there are many local events taking place Wednesday to show your support. Share part of your Veterans Day with the veterans here at home.
Macon American Legion Post 29 will hold a Veterans Day service at the Macon Courthouse in front of the Veterans Memorials at 11 a.m. with Reverend Scott Dalrymple as the speaker. Following the services, all veterans and their families are invited to the American Legion Hall for a free ham and bean dinner.
Callio is hosting a breakfast for veterans at 8 a.m. with a program to follow at the school. The Bevere School is hosting an 8 a.m. breakfast with a veterans program at 9. Buckland School will serve breakfast at 7 a.m. and their service begins at 8. And the Macon County R4 School of New Cambria has a veterans program at 11.
Salisbury St. Joseph School Student Council and 4th grade will host a Veterans Day celebration at 7:50 a.m. on Wednesday. The band will perform, the entire school will sing, patriotic piano solos will be played, prayers and poems will be offered as a tribute to veterans and those currently serving in the military.
Refreshments will be served at the close of the ceremony. Church and community members, especially veterans and military personnel, are invited to join them.
West Rand's Veterans Day activities begin with a breakfast for veterans from 6 to 8:15, followed by an assembly honoring the veterans beginning at 8:30.
And Marceline's Veterans Service starts at 11 a.m. at the Walsworth Community Center with a chili and soup luncheon served following the service.
And Atlanta School's Veterans Assembly starts at 8:30 in the gym. Don't miss a chance to honor those who have made and continue to make sacrifices for our great nation.
And there are a lot of opportunities to do that. So, our first guest, Representative Tim Remley, is a true supporter of our military. He plans to attend the Bevere Veterans Service this year. Tim has served our area as District 6 representative since 2012. He joins us now with an update on the new energy regulations and the Planned Parenthood investigation. It is so important to be informed of what's going on in our legislature, and I am so pleased to have Representative Remley joining us again. It's been a little while since we've had you on, so it's good that you're here.
Well, it's good to be here. I always enjoy coming up.
Well, thanks. And with this being Veterans Week, Veterans Day week, we're especially proud that you are here. And I know that the veterans mean a lot to you in serving our country. So it's a very good thing, and you're going to be in, I guess, Bevere on Wednesday.
Yeah, I'm planning on being there. They called and asked me to be there, and I always take part in some veteran things, and because it's I think it's very important, and we ought to show that appreciation. You know, we have the greatest country in the world, and we enjoy freedoms every day, and those veterans fought for those freedoms and that we enjoy, and we need to honor those that serve for us.
Absolutely, and honoring them also in being informed of what's going on in our legislature and making informed decisions when we vote and what's going on with that. So I know there's some new regulations with the energy information or energy bills that have passed. So
Right.
update us on what's going on with that.
Well, I serve on the Southern States Energy Board, which is made up of 16 other states in the southern region, and gone quite a bit this summer in energy meetings, and I've been in Savannah, Georgia, and then we had a big meeting there, and it was about a 4 or 5 day meeting, and then we just ended up being in West Virginia, and it's just so good to get it with other states, other state representatives, state senators, and governors, and actually I've got some one-on-one with the governors of those states, and you know, it's just it's amazing what we're seeing done with this EPA, the regulations, and actually for Missouri, they actually came out when they came out with the final rules. Missouri is facing a bigger challenge than some of the other states. They made it even more difficult for us to make those new regulations. And
So how will those new regulations affect people in our area?
well, it'll have a very adverse situation here in our state, and that's one reason why we came up with an energy plan and for our state that we passed legislation. Actually, I was one of the co-sponsors of the bill that required Missouri to come up with an energy plan because we had none in the process, and that's what the bill did, was just get that discussion going. And that plan, I'm not the happiest with that plan. We had a lot of discussion on it, and it's just kind of a plan that we're going to try to go by in some ways, but at the same time we got to protect our state, because what's happening is on these new regulations, they made it so stringent that for the power companies to meet those new regulations, it's going to cost billions of dollars.
And that'll trickle down to the consumer.
It will, and you know, when I've talked to business owners across our district, actually, their energy bill has a big part of their company's bottom line. And I've talked to manufacturers in our district that actually, you know, that they have sister companies, you know, in other states. And, you know, Missouri we're one of the lower, you know, the states that have lower electric bills, but at the same time, some of those other states they have some advantages, and they have the same or lower rates just by a little bit. And so, you know, when we're seeing our costs being threatened to be lifted, you know, it always threatens jobs, business growth, and the economy is based on, you know, a lot of the stuff that has to do with energy.
Yeah, when you start talking about small businesses maybe closing or not being able to you know, have a business, or not being able to hire additional people because of this, it really does affect our communities in an adverse way.
Oh, it really does, and it actually affects even businesses that are wanting to locate here. We saw the GAF project in Moberly that everyone was excited about, that there's no telling how many businesses that would have brought to this region. And I worked hard with Moberly Economic Development. They worked very hard, and the city council there was working. They were just doing everything they could. It looked very good. I had a date from the DNR that they were going to get a building permit, and that didn't happen. And it was just over regulations, and if we could have got them a building permit, GAF would be half built, and you know, they would be building and be coming to Moberly. And when they made that decision, we had meetings there, and it was just really, when I go to Southern States and I see what they're doing how their DNR and how their economic development and how that they are, especially in Georgia, how they're working collaborative together. And then have, you know, some of the things that happened on this deal was just really appalling to me. And you know, it shouldn't take 12 to 14 months to get a building permit when a company has the money, has the resources, and are trying so hard to come here. They spend a lot of money, invested a lot of time and energy to come here, and some of the regulations that we saw. So it's not just energy, but just regulations as a whole. And we're seeing literally thousands of new regulations coming in on small businesses, and that's why we're fighting. But our energy is something that you know, when we see the regulations that puts pressure like on our power plant, the Thomas Hill Energy Center, that has done tremendous amount of work and have met the EPA regulations till all of a sudden, you know, it's got to go to over 30% reduction more. And
So it's almost like a
impossible.
new ball game for them.
It really is, and the only way you can do it is if you invest billions of dollars. And some of the technology has not even been developed. They don't know, and then we talk about energy security, the security of our country. I mean, Homeland Security right now does not even have a plan in place on cyber attack because we know terrorists, one of the things that they would attack or would try to attack would be our power grid. Now, everyone knows it's a computer world. And could you imagine, and you think, and what I'd like everybody to do is just one day, just think of energy, what you use energy. You flip on your lights, you go to your water faucet or whatever you do. I mean, watch television or get on your computer. Whatever you do takes power. Now you knock that out, you know, these computers and everything, but yet our federal government does not even have, in case of a cyber attack, and that's what we've been talking about. We've had meetings on just security on energy in the Southern States Energy Board. That's what we have talked about. And if this would go down, how it impact, and yet coal is still the most reliable source of energy, the cheapest, and it is in abundance in the United States of America. But for some reason, this administration has had a war on coal, and they're actually trying to shut down really what the terrorists actually would like to shut down. And that's pretty strong words, but at the same time, let's think about this. Missouri gets 80% of its power from coal.
Okay.
West Virginia, it's a high amount, and all these other states, I can name a lot of states that they get a high amount of energy from coal. And then you look at California that, you know, they've went green, so to speak. But what people don't realize, like California is, they buy power from states like us that are running on coal. And that's the story you do not hear, but a lot of these states that's had the blackouts, it's mainly because they're relying on sources that aren't developed yet to keep up the grid. Without coal, we could not sustain our grid and our power grid, and you know, it is so vitally important that we do some things that will protect that grid in case of a cyber attack or any other attack on our energy.
And that's something that you're working on and something that we'll see in the near future? It's something that's...
It is something we're working on, but right now, under these new rules, it's making it extremely difficult. And that's what was even brought out on a report today on the national news. I don't know if anyone heard it this morning, but that was one of the things that they were complaining about to Homeland Security, is that you do not have a plan on energy. And really, they have a plan that from the EPA to shut down our most reliable source of energy, but yet we don't have, they need to be concentrating on ways to protect. That's their job, is protect the country and not come against the country in so many of these ways through regulation, and that's right now that's what we have. But we do have a voice, and we're letting our our people know in Washington. But that's why we're doing some of the stuff on the state level to protect our state. And I'm going to be planning on filing some legislation to protect the state of Missouri. And there's ways that we can, if we stand up, and what the federal government likes to do. So if you're going to do that, then we're not going to give you the money here or there, and it's all tied into the money. And it's sad to say, but we have over the years become more reliable on the federal governments. But we are a sovereign states. And as I had a one-on-one with the governor of West Virginia, it was a great time we had with him, and he actually was talking to me. And towns are literally shutting down in West Virginia. They have been developed on the coal industry, and they've lost over 8,000 miners' jobs in that state. And towns have shut down, and they've become ghost towns in his state.
Well, you've shared this information with us, and so what, as people are hearing this, what do we need to do to help you with the process of making some changes?
Well, I'm going to actually in November the 30th, I'm planning on at the Moberly Junior College. It looks like that's where we're going to have our public meeting, and I'm going to have some experts from that actually deal with this all the time. And we're going to try to have that meeting in November the 30th. I've got that's the tentative date. I've got one more power company to hear from, but we're trying to have a public meeting. We're going to let everyone know about that meeting, and then we're going to let people know what they can do, who they can call, and how important it is for the legislature, not only on the state level, but also the federal level, to hear from the people. And, I was so proud of my district. I really was. And I brag on our district. I really do, because when we had those public meetings before, from those meetings, actually our region led the country on responses to the EPA. And it was because when the people found out, because they were informed, and we had some tremendous speakers that come in and talked on global warming and showed all that stuff, and then the power companies came in and told what it was going to do, and actually I talked to one company that is going to be there, Ameren is probably going to be there, and hopefully Associated the cooperatives can come in. And what I want to show the people, what we're facing if the EPA gets their way, and they can actually show the slides and show how our energy infrastructure is getting older by a lot, and we're seeing a lot of things go down, and so they're going to explain why that we need to do this, and just how these costs would be affect each and every one of us.
Well, when you get the final details, let us know. We'd be happy to help get the word out.
Yeah, I
about
will.
that.
I was trying to get everything put together before we talked, and but it looks like it'll be on the 30th. And but anyway, I just think it's great to let the people know what's been going on.
You hear so many different things, so it is really good to be informed, from the source. You have a wealth of knowledge, so it's.
Well, I've really been on I'm on 2 energy committees. I'm vice chair of one of the energy committees, so I'm.
So you're really in tune to
involved.
what's going on.
Yeah, we try to do our best.
Yeah. Well, I know you've also been kind of busy with the Planned Parenthood investigation. That's kind of a tough deal. It's you can't believe that's going on in the United States.
You're right.
Some of the things they're doing.
And Planned Parenthood, I'm on Children and Families Committee, and through that committee and another committee down there, they had chose those committees to be on the investigation of the Planned Parenthood, and we had the director actually of Health and Senior Services that came in and testified, and you know, some of her testimony was really discouraging because you could see that they really had no oversight much besides giving them a permit. They pretty well, Planned Parenthood pretty well have had a pretty run on what they were
Open
doing.
reign, kind of an open reign of what they could do.
Yeah, yeah, it really was. Besides the permitting, and the permitting, it's, and I would encourage people, and I thought I would, at some point, people are interested, they could contact my office, and we could give you the link to the Missouri laws, which we have some of the strictest laws on this. You know, no taxpayer money in Missouri is to be going for abortions. And through the investigation, even on the Senate side, we found out that a lot of the stuff was done because they went through the University of Missouri, and the university, and you know, that's taxpayer money goes to the university by millions of dollars, and so that investigation still continues on what their involvement was. And but you know, some of the stuff we heard, you know, it was just really, you know, I don't know how to say it. It was just really discouraging that these kind of things are going on in the United States. And you know, when we had, on the last day of our last investigation, we had a director that had been a director of Planned Parenthood in another state. We had asked the director of Planned Parenthood to come and testify. She denied it, or she would not come, and some other key witnesses. And you know, in our state, that they had refused to come. So we reached out to a Planned Parenthood director in another state, and what she told us had been going on in her, and the reason why she is no longer a Planned Parenthood director is because she assisted in one abortion, and she said it was a male baby that actually was trying to get away from the instrument. And the way that she described that and what goes on, I probably shouldn't say that in front of the viewers here, but you know, I'll just tell you, it was really disturbing and appalling at the same time. That, you know, we have so many people wanting to adopt or can't have children, and then to see this done in this way. And then I asked the director myself when she was there that day to testify. I said, you know, I can't believe I'm saying this in the United States, but if Planned Parenthood in Missouri was selling baby parts, there's no way you would know about it. You wouldn't even know. And she had, she didn't really want to answer, but she had to answer that they wouldn't.
They were not. They weren't aware of it. They just
That-
the free reign and the
Yeah,
the Planned Parenthood was doing what they wanted
they
to do.
do send the remains to a pathologist, and they look at everything. But like I say, I can't go into it in detail on TV, but I will tell you, if the general public knew what was going on in an abortion, and to think that it is a human life, and you know, when we look at one of the things that really, to look at this, we had a tragedy down in the southern part of a county where a woman was killed in a wreck from a drunk driver, and she was pregnant, and you know, the court charged her with involuntary manslaughter on 2 accounts,
Yeah.
and they acknowledged in a court of law that that was a life. And I'm saying, what's the difference if it's, you know, if it's a life in some instances? But you know, you don't have to convince a lot of people what's inside this mother. Even the Supreme Court ruling when Roe versus Wade went in, they said if we could ever prove what this is at life, well, we have done that. I mean, the research show, of course, you know, it's kind of common sense to me, but you know, when you really look at it, even the Supreme Court's ruling, why are we still doing this? I mean, it's to me, it's more than a choice. it's just really sad it's going on in our country.
Right, it is a human life, it is.
It is, and hopefully, and we are going to move on some legislation, no doubt, and I've put in some suggestions myself on what I'd like to see done, and there's going to be more oversight. I'll guarantee you that, and I would like to see what I have seen over the 3 years. I would like to see Planned Parenthood shut down. And just from what I've seen from them, and then they did not want any inspections on their facilities. I was it came through my committee, one of the bills requiring them to have inspections, and they fought that like crazy. And my wife's an RN, and I said, the hospital has inspections. They expect it. They know that. That's going to come. And when you're talking about, life and a mother, the safety of a woman, why wouldn't you want it? We wondered about it. We even asked, well, what are you trying to hide if you're not wanting inspections? But anyway, I would like to see that. There's a lot of other areas where you can help plan your family, and Planned Parenthood is, I don't know how much Parenthood is involved with Planned Parenthood, and which one of the director of Planned Parenthood that is no longer involved with Planned Parenthood, said they had a goal of 75 babies a month.
75 babies a month.
And they were receiving $200 per baby from research centers. So, we're at a crossroads in America. I really believe that we really are at a crossroads, and we're going to have to really start standing up as people and just say, hey, enough is enough. And in a lot of areas, and a lot of issues. And I've seen a lot of people stepping up to the plate, and I'm encouraged by that. I'm hoping that by involving the public and informing the public what's going on, that we can do even more and helping out in all these situations.
Yeah, well, hopefully, you can continue your updates with us and continue the updates on this project or this with the Planned Parenthood and with the energy laws that are being passed or trying to be passed. So it's great information. It's great to be informed. We got an election year coming up, and there's so much, going on with all the candidates, and really, part of your responsibility is being an informed voter.
That is so true, and I enjoy coming up and letting the people know what's going on and how they can get involved. And I love it when people get involved. I draw a lot from the constituents that come in and tell me how they feel on a lot of issues.
Well, and you're really easy to approach, and you're very passionate about what you're doing, so we appreciate that very much.
Well, thank you.
And we will hopefully see you again real soon then.
Okay,
Thanks.
thank you.
Thanks, Representative Emily.